Streak. I'm Steve DeBerry.
And I'm Jay Craney.
Today we have a few matchups we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about our records so far this month since we're halfway there. And we'll get to our usual segments with Charles and our locks of the day. Jake, let's start off with some MLB baseball on the slate for tomorrow. This is one of the more lopsided crops I've seen on the streak.
Yep.
We have the Dodgers at the San Diego Padres. Tell us about this one.
All right, well, this is one of those matchups where you look at it and you see these teams' records are just night and day. One of them's first place in their division, one of them's last place. Capuano's record is 5-0, Richard's record is 1-5. And you ask yourself, why is this on here? What's the catch? And you look a little deeper, there's the obvious Matt Kemp injury, so that's going to take away some firepower from the Dodgers. And San Diego's at home. Also, Richard's one win, you guessed it, against the Dodgers. In Capuano's one start against the Padres, he won, but he also allowed 4 runs to that pretty bad offense. With all that in mind, though, I'm still going to go Dodgers here. Capuano has done nothing but steadily improve since that outing, and he gave up no more than 2 runs in any game since then. And Richard has had a string of bad outings since then. This is going to be the 3rd time he's facing the Dodgers, and that familiarity is not going to bode well for him. Dodgers all the way here. Don't overthink this. Take the easy green.
Yeah, so the MLB is tough. Just like you said, their records are far apart from each other. But at the end of the season, the best team in the MLB is 160, and the worst team in the MLB is 60 and 100. There's not that big of a gap, right? So a lot of these, take MLB games with a grain of salt because there is no such thing as a heavy favorite. The best you're going to get in an MLB game at the end of the day is every team has at least got a 30% chance of winning.
Right. I mean, we're basically just trying to bet on teams that win almost as much as they lose, right, and vice versa. It's not, huge pressure-packed situations like a college football season where you maybe can better predict what these teams are going to bring. This is just, there's so many games, and like you said, it's so even, it's kind of a crapshoot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going Dodgers as well, but when it comes to the streak, there's no such thing as a 99.6% favorite. If you've got a W23 at this point of the month, like that, a Dende or whatever his name was, 92, was lucky enough to have, you got 15 days. You're probably going to want to avoid baseball at all costs and look for those Sunday golf props that are who will win, where they usually give you 2 golfers and things like that. But I'm going Dodgers in this one. But if you got a big streak, try to stay away from baseball the best you can. Basketball is a lot more predictable. The hockey, I personally think, is still more predictable. But that's our streak advice for the day.
Let's talk about one of those hockey matchups coming up tonight. Devils at Rangers, Game 2, after the Rangers put up 3 goals in the 3rd period to win Game 1 3-0. What are you thinking here? The
Rangers looked great in Game 1. It took them a little while to get going, but their defense was stout in that game. Lundqvist looked great. They're 6-3 at home in the playoffs. They've been playing really good at the Garden. My sort of point of view of this series is the Devils far exceeded their expectations just getting to the conference finals. Their celebration came getting here. The Rangers, being the #1 team in the NHL throughout the year, their goal is to win a Stanley Cup. You saw that fire in the first game. They play with a sense of urgency at the end, and that's going to continue into Game 2. The Rangers are going to take this game and probably take the series in 5.
Okay. It's playoff hockey.
It's playoff hockey.
Playoff hockey. I don't necessarily agree that the Devils are just happy getting here. I think that they're going to be hungry, really trying to avoid that 2-0 hole. I think, they had a lot of chances in Game 1. They just couldn't put any in the net. Lundqvist was awesome, but you just can't count on him being perfect again. I think the Devils come hungry, expect a very close game, possibly overtime. I'm going to take the Devils to win this by a goal, even the series.
All right, I'm not even going to comment. Let's just move on. Let's move on to the NBA. Let's talk Celtics at Sixers. This has become a who will win this matchup because the Celtics did not impress in those first games. They're going to Philadelphia. What are your thoughts on this one, Jake?
Tough again. I mean, you've got the first 2 games in Boston, 1-point victories for either team. This is a good looking series here. 76ers are 3-0 so far at home in the playoffs. They've got a lot of very young talent, and they spread their offense around. If one guy's not on, they can give it to Turner, Iguodala, Haas, Holiday. These guys are playing well. They're coached well. And so far, their youth is catching up with the Boston's experience, just like the Thunder's youth are just blowing away the Lakers at the moment. Sixers take this. Sixers take Game 3 at home.
So the Celtics are 3-5 in their last 8 road games with losses to Atlanta, the New York Knicks, and the Raptors. So it's not like they've been losing to the NBA's elite. And their wins in that 3-5 trip were against the Nets, the Bobcats, and the Hawks. So they haven't been good on the road. They're getting old, like you said. 76ers are 4-4 in their last 8 at home. And the Sixers have shown a ton of determination in the playoffs. But let's not kid ourselves. A lot of those games that the Sixers won with a Derrick Rose-less and Joakim Noah-less Chicago Bulls team, they stole. They should have lost a couple of those games, and that series probably should have went to 7 games. The Bulls probably could have closed it out even earlier. So it's not like they were dominating a very average Bulls team. You look back to the end of the season, the Sixers were very bad. They were barely 500, if that, and they barely got to the playoffs as the 8th seed. The cream's going to rise to the top. The Celtics are a much better team. The Sixers have been playing out of their minds, stealing games. The Celtics are going to make a statement in this game, and I feel like this is where they turn the corner and start dominating this series. So I'm going with the Celtics.
Disagree wholeheartedly, folks. Let's talk about some more baseball to end the night. We've got Cardinals at Giants. Garcia versus Bumgarner on the mound. What are you thinking here?
This is a good matchup. Jamie Garcia is 2-2 this year with a 4.09 ERA. Madison Bumgarner is 5-2 with a 2.80 ERA. The Giants are starting to hit their stride. They're 6-4 in their last 10, and the Cards have a very, very good record. I think they're like 21-13 or somewhere 21-15 around there. So they've got a good record. The thing that you have to remember, though, is the St. Louis Cardinals have played a very, very weak schedule. A very weak schedule. They have great statistics. They're leading the NL in a lot of like run scoring type categories. But if you look back at their schedule, it's a lot of their division and then teams from the other divisions that are at the bottom right now. They start to gear up now where they're playing the Phillies and the Braves and teams like that. And this is the start of it with this 2-game series with the Giants. I expect the Giants to win at home, and I also caution people to be picking the Cardinals in the next couple of weeks. Let's see how they are when they start playing against normal competition. So go with the Giants here, and you'll be all right.
Interesting. Yeah, this pitching matchup. I mean, neither pitcher has been good lately. They've been getting knocked around a lot. So I don't expect this to be a low-scoring game. I don't expect these pitchers to go deep into the game. You're going to see the bullpens. And I'm going to take the team with the better offense, which is by far St. Louis. Giants also have some injuries at some very key positions, and they have been getting better, but they're just not hitting well enough to stay with the bats of the Cardinals. The Cardinals are driving in runs like crazy. I'm going Cardinals here.
So that's 3 disagreements.
Yep.
It should be an interesting day today around these parts. Stay tuned. Charles has gotten off to a rough start this week, back to his losing ways, but he's looking to bounce back, and we'll be right back with that. Welcome back to the Daily Streak. It's now time for Charles's Lock of the Day. Jake, what will Charles be picking today?
Charles wants to turn his attention after that Fortuna Dusseldorf disappointment to the NBA. He's going to be picking the Lakers versus Thunder Game 2 after the big blowout in Game 1. It's Lakers single-digit loss or win versus Thunder win by double digits.
Well, I hope that Charles is Southern California bias. He was born in California, raised in California, never left the state until a couple weeks ago for the first time. I hope that bias doesn't take into account when he's going after those treats and he doesn't veer towards the LA Lakers treat. Hopefully he's a fair pup. Out to you, Charles. There it is, folks. Charles is going with the LA Lakers. The bias got the best of him. That little T-bone steak, I guess, looked better to him.
Yep.
And he likes the Lakers tomorrow. Let's hope he can get back to his winning ways. We'll be right back with our locks of the day. We're back, and it's time to lock it up with our locks of the day. Let's start with Chris DeBerry as usual. Chris is locking in the soccer prop tomorrow. He is going with the more goals, so it's 3 or more goals is the total score of the game. He's going with 3 or more. He's on a 3-lock win streak, I believe, right now.
Nice.
So 3 or 4 lock.
Wow, keep it going.
So hopefully he can keep it going, and it's a good record he's got going. Jake, what do you got?
No surprise here. I'm going to lock in the Dodgers. I think you support me on that as well. No reason to worry about the Matt Kemp injury. You still have Ethier, who's leading the team in RBIs. The pitching matchup is way off, even though Richard did win his very first start against them. These huge 99%, these big games. Sometimes there's a trap in there. Sometimes you got to just take what you get.
Yeah, the odds are with you. They're 6-1 this year against the Padres. They've sort of dominated them, so that's a great lock. I am locking in for the second time in three days the New York Hockey Rangers. I'm going with the Rangers. I just really like the vibe around the city these days with their hockey, and I feel very strongly that the Rangers will take Game 2 and close the series out pretty early.
Let's hope that flip of the coin there lands your way, Steve. I really am rooting for you.
Yeah, we're all doing pretty well on locks right now, so it's not a bad idea to roll with us. It's what we've been rolling with lately. We've been streaking all right. So
seeing some green.
Some
green.
Well, that's our show for today. Everyone have a fantastic Wednesday, and we will see you tomorrow.